Who is Sayca Jamil? My name's Ben, and I'm going to give you a little rundown of what's been happening with Sayca and why she is now currently being held in a psychiatric unit against her will after a false arrest by Chester Police in Chester Hospital right now, being poisoned with various drugs that, as we well know, most of us that have been in this for a little while, the drugs that they give you inside are the very drugs that cause the side effects that then go with the diagnosis of what they're trying to tell you you've got. So, back in 2020, Sayca was in, still is ostensibly in business in the disposal of commercial waste. So she's very adept with toxicology, very smart woman. She's just over 5 foot and 7 stone. So she realised that basically Chester Council were trying to put her out of business through HMRC, as is a fairly common story for most of us that are small business owners during the whole COVID scenario. And she decided to fight back. And she educated herself in law in the UCC, etc., etc. The UCC being the Uniform Commercial Code, the highest expression of contract law that exists. It's how governments speak to each other, especially regarding your birth certificate and trust funds, etc., etc. So she's well researched on this. Everything, as we know, comes down to the SESQV, basically. So she started noticing people, including Chief Constable Mark Roberts of Chester Police Constabulary, noticing people of what was going on. So, as a lot of us did, like Mark Sexton's gone in with the active crime number. Like I went to the police station here with the active crime number and they did absolutely nothing. Freemasons, you've got a lot to answer for. Anyway, she was citing here the fact that Chester Police had a notice of removal of implied right of access, that Newlyn PLC, as in Newlyn Group Holdings Limited, had been surveilling her, audio and visually, from a car, an unmarked car, which is unlawful as a third party. She was notifying them of UN Agenda 2030 and One World Governance, the directed energy weapons, with all the patents. So all the patents I've got here that she was telling them about, trying to let them know, oh, by the way, your government's trying to kill you. Well, obviously, these guys were in on it, and they were pursuing their ends. These guys have, unfortunately, a scorched earth policy. So I'm sat here at the moment with part of her dossier that she created and sent in to Chief Constable Mark Roberts. So this includes weather modification patents, earthquake creation models patents, cloud seeding, autopilot systems for cars, RF amplifier patents, and the bioeffects of selected non-lethal weapons, and various other things, right? So she knows what she's on about. She knows that the 5G's in the street lights. She's very well researched and has been in contact with some very high caliber people around the earth to make sure she's got her facts straight. So she noticed the police constable. Right. In brief, they've tried to put her out of business. Like I said, they tried to take her house. They've tried to take a car. They've clamped a car. She's complied with getting it removed, the clamp, and they didn't remove it. Blah, 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 blah. So standard sort of police militia tactics, So when they realised that obviously she was doing everything within the law, within the UCC, they decided to come to her home on, I think it was the 14th of February this year, and arrest her. So, just give me 2 seconds. We're going to go into this. So, arresting someone under the Mental Health Act. So this is even by the police's own guidelines. So I'm going to read you this. Right, if a person appears to a constable to be suffering from a mental disorder, remember she's just telling the truth, with research documents, with the patents, etc., etc. So if a person appears to a constable to be suffering from a mental disorder and to be in immediate need of care or control, the constable may, if he thinks it necessary to do so in the interest of that person or for the protection of other persons, A, remove the person to a place of safety, under section 135, or if the person is already at a place of safety, keep that person at the place or remove the person to another place of safety. So under 1A, it says here, the power of the constable under subsection 1 may be exercised where the mentally disordered person is at a place any place other than any house, flat or room where the person or other person is living, or any yard, garden, garage or outhouse that is used in connection with the house or flat or room other than that's used connection with one or more other houses, flats or rooms. So what does that mean? Well, this comes from the Mental Health Act 1983, and as we know, all acts and statutes are actually, and legislation, are unlawful against we the people, certainly since, certainly since 1972 when Edward Heath gave our sovereignty away to the European Union. So any act, statute, legislation or anything like that doesn't count. But however, this is their rules. And they arrested her in her kitchen after breaking into the house. I think there were 9 of them, she said, there. 3 in officers' uniforms to come and take her away. And they took her away. So now we come on to, again, their rules. So what is... 2 seconds, let me bring the right one up. So here we are back to their rules of human trafficking. Part B. A person commits an offence if the person arranges or facilitates the travel of another person with a view to being exploited. It is irrelevant whether the person consents to the travel or whether the person is an adult or a child. A person may, in particular, arrange or facilitate the travel by recruiting that person, transporting or transferring them, harbouring or receiving them, or transferring or exchanging control of this over this person. So now we've established that she's been unlawfully arrested under the Mental Health Act because she was arrested in her own home. Now we've got it in for human trafficking. Chester Police. And also, that means that the hospital is participating in human trafficking as well. Surprise. So now, she has been in psychiatric care because she's got a different set of beliefs to anybody else. Now, this person is just over 5 foot tall and 7 stone. She's not a danger to herself and she's not a danger to anybody else. She's just standing up, you know, like a lot of us. And she is on, amongst many other things, she's been on a range of different drugs, which include risperidone, lorazepam, olanzapine, and most concerningly, palperidone, palmitate, recently. So they've just started to give her these. So I'm just going to give you a little insight into what palperidone, palmitate does. This is on the ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, National Library of Medicine. Okay, so abstract. In this report, we present a case of a 20-year-old woman with schizophrenia. Now, remember, Sayca's not ill. She's just telling the truth, so she hasn't got schizophrenia. Anyway, who had been treated with a once-monthly dosage of long-acting palperidone palmitate due to poor adherence to oral antipsychotics. Because obviously, and the psycho's in the same position, she doesn't want to take these drugs. As a toxicologist and somebody that was involved in the removal of commercial waste, she's very, very up on what these drugs are actually doing, and what they're there for. Palperidone palmitate due to poor adherence to oral antipsychotics. She presented to the emergency department of Sultan Qaboos. This is not Sayca. This is just an abstract that tells you about some of the issues with palperidone palmitate at this particular hospital in Muscat, Oman, with tachycardia, difficulty in breathing, difficulty in swallowing, choking, excessive production of saliva, drooling, urinary incontinence, blurry vision, a shifting gait, slowness of movement, stooped posture, muscle rigidity, tremor, and hyperprolactinemia. The palperidone palmitate injections were discontinued and the patient underwent a treatment course and subsequently achieved a full recovery within 7 days. Anyway, this is what Sayca's, not all of those things, but most of those things that she's getting at the moment with this palperidone. How this stuff is lawful in any way, shape or form. Well, we know there's no rule of law apart from the Law of War Manual 2015 as amended 2023. Space Force, if you're listening, you could do with acting on this one. That'd be good. So they basically, in these toxic prisons, they take people out that they don't know how else to deal with, section them under the Mental Health Act, and then put the toxins in that cause the bloody problems that they're trying to diagnose you with to start with. So what's happening with this then now? Well, she's in. She's got a review on Tuesday. Now, bearing in mind she's been in there since February the 14th-ish. So that's where we now. We're in May, February, March, April. So 2.5 months with various drugs all the time on her own. She's not allowed outside for a breath of fresh air either. I'm sure that's against human rights. So basically everything that has happened to her on this journey has been completely unlawful. It's completely illegal as well. And yet they still think that they've got a right to keep her in there. What this country has come to. I went away and fought for this country. I went to Afghanistan 6 times. Right? For this country. And I come back here and the people that sent me to Afghanistan are the ones that are absolutely destroying it right now. Now, this is obviously about Sayca. But there's thousands of these people and cases around the United Kingdom. And they poison them to get rid of them, basically. Wipe their mind so they can't function properly. And then either kill them or pump them out at some later stage when they're completely acquiesced. So where is she being held? Well, she's being held at Countess of Chester Hospital in the psychiatric unit there. I'm hoping that on this review on Tuesday that she'll be released. I'm hoping that all those people that are involved in this come to their fucking senses. Because everything is unlawful and illegal. And that's what they do, that's what the government do, that's what these Freemasonic organisations do, is they tuck you away when you start making noise about things they don't want you to know about. The fact that they're trying to kill you. And keep you out of the way until you die or whatever, or people lose interest, etc., etc. Well, we're not losing interest. Also, in there, some time ago, this is about 3 weeks ago now, so let's just find a picture of Sayca for a second, and I'll show you. Stand by. That's Sayca there. Big threat. She, 3 weeks ago or so, was burned by somebody else in there. So remember, not only all the false chain of arrest, etc., custody, human trafficking, blah, 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 blatant criminality. She was burned by somebody else in there, and they've got a duty of care for her. These aren't nice burns. So, just raising awareness. And there's a warning to all of you, cabal. All of you that are just playing along, just doing your jobs. There will be a period of time, not too long hence, where the lights will go out. You'll be made to stay at home, and you will be removed from your home. Doctors, nurses, who are complicit, lawyers, judges, paedophiles, Satanists, all here. Because, as I say, we are under Law of War Manual 2015 as amended 2023. That's about the only bloody law that exists in the UK at the moment. And the Courts Martial Manual. Everything's been captured. Everything. Every phone call, every text, every conversation. Pretty much every thought. Every action. So when it comes to your trial, it'll be very quick because I'll have all the evidence through your phone, through your computer, through every surveillance device that you thought you would use to get us. 5 eyes, internet, Wi-Fi, everything. And it'll just be a very quick, you can't bear anymore. You had your time. Time's up. So, share this video, please, to help raise awareness of Sayca, and more particularly as well, what our government's still doing, because they ain't stopped. And this is just about the adults, let alone the kids. Love ya.